Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. For those who have been here before, I welcome you back. Thank you so much for coming back. And for those who are new to the channel, thank you so much for coming on in here and taking the time to press play on the video. And I just want to hope and pray that anything that is said and done, is something that a little nugget that you could receive from it that it really blesses your heart and encourages your heart. This channel, like I said before, if you haven't watched any of my previous videos, it's about basically encouraging anybody, any and everybody on this journey called life. Whether that be wife, being a mother, um, your spiritual journey, whatever I could do to encourage you, however I'm led to do that, I will be able to share videos on this channel for you, and I just pray that it be a blessing to your heart. But today, as you can see from the title, I'm gonna share a few things about my journey along with my twins. If you're new, I have twin boys, Rashad and Gerard. As you can see from the picture, they are 6 years old and they were officially diagnosed with ASD, which is autism spectrum disorder. And I just wanted to create a platform to help inform others like myself who was going through this whole whirlwind emotional roller coaster over the past 6 years, to know that you're not in it alone, number one, and to help inform you as best as I can on based on the journey that we lived for the past 6 years. And I pray that that's exactly what these videos will do for you. So before I jump completely into it, as I would do, I would like to open up in prayer, and then we could get directly into what the title is talking about today. So, dear Heavenly Father, I just want to thank you and praise you, dear God, for this opportunity, dear God, to come before your people to share our story. Lord, you have created this platform, and I just pray that whatever is said and done brings honor and glory to your name, first and foremost, and that it helps anybody out there who may be in the same position that I was a few years back, or a few months back, or a few days ago, dear God. So, Lord, just speak to my heart, use me as you will, and let it all be done to honor and glory of your name. In Jesus' name I pray this prayer. Amen. So, as you can see from the title of the video, I'm going to share 5 common signs of ASD, autism spectrum disorder, that my husband and I have observed in our twins over the past 6 years. Let me start off by saying this for sure. I am not a trained um, special education teacher. I'm not a trained ASD um, helper. I'm not trained in no way, no form, no fashion. All I am is a mother who who was walking this journey for the past couple of years, and understanding um, the diagnosis over the past couple of months and reading more on it and educating myself with things that I found online, the things that I got from the psychologists that diagnosed them, just educating myself as best as I could to help me help my children on this journey. So now I'm going to help you as best as I can to know certain signs, well, 5 common signs that to look out for, to see if your child may have any of these traits in them, or to know exactly what it is that you you may not know what you'll be looking for. So just to know exactly what it is that to look for if you have a feeling that your child may have um, autism in any way, shape, or form. I will also say that all children are different. Not all children are on the same spectrum, because it's many levels to this. Not all children are on the same spectrum. Not all children exhibit the same signs. Not because even my twins, even though they're identical, they don't exhibit all of the same signs. So I just wanted to say that as well. But because so all of these signs that I'm listing, it's only what I observed in my children, not necessarily meaning that that's exactly what you might have seen in your child. And I just wanted to make sure that was clear. So with that being said, the first sign that I wanted to talk about was the children obsession or fixation with objects that spin. From they were very young, both of them actually were very, very intrigued with things that spin. Whether it would have been, I know for sure, number one would be noticed with ceiling fans. They loved just looking at ceiling fans no matter where we went. The ceiling fans always would catch their attention and they just would look at it and be happy to see it. It just really always caught their attention. So ceiling fans were one of the things that I realized that they were really fixated on as they grew. And regular fans, anything that spin, regular fans, and also the wheels on cars, their toy cars. They would turn the cars over and be spinning the wheels as much as they can, and they would get excited and have joy from just watching that. So that's one of the signs that I've observed in the two of them as they grew over the past couple of years. The second sign I observed was repetitive hand gestures. For one of my children, he does clapping. He claps a lot. He always is clapping. Every time you'll hear a random 1, 2, 3 clap, 1, 2 clap, like he always is clapping. So one of them exhibit clapping and the other exhibit um just fidgeting their hands, just fidgeting his fingers together. Whether it be in the front of him, whether it be on the side of him, he just fidgets his fingers a lot. And what I realized with both of them, when they do clap and when they fidget their fingers, it's because they're excited. They're either playing a game or they're playing with each other, and they're watching something, and whatever it is that they're so happy to see or to do, they clap as a way to express themselves, or they fidget their hands, their fingers as a way to express themselves. So that's number two, repetitive hand gestures. Number three would be the most, I guess, one of the most obvious ones would be speech delay or developmental delay, just overall developmental delay. Speech delay is basically straightforward. They're not saying certain words, they're not communicating the way that they should be communicating as a typical child will communicate at a certain age level. So speech delay and general overall developmental delay, whereas they're not probably able to feed themselves, not being able to walk, potty on time, hold a pencil, color, get themselves dressed, open up things. It varies from child to child because certain things that one of my boys can do, the other one isn't there yet, and vice versa. But overall developmental delay. So those two are number three, the speech delay and the overall developmental delay. And you will be able to see, you'll know certain things that, okay, you're at this age, you should be doing this. I know all children grow and advance and develop at their own pace, but certain things are very hard to ignore when it comes to that. The fourth um, sign that I noticed in them as they grew was they would get really upset. I mean, upset, crying, no tantrums, thank God, because I know some people deal with children who might have tantrums and tend to like really um, harm themselves in the tantrum. But with my boys, they don't really have tantrums per se, but they really get upset, they cry when there is a change in their routine, whether it be normal routines every day. When they get up, they eat their breakfast, then they go into the bathroom, they get dressed, we get dressed, we leave. Whether it be a change in that routine, it might not be as upsetting now. I've noticed that they've grown out of that and they don't get as upset as they used to before. But and also another change of routine is different places that you drive. One thing we observed when they were younger, where our church was located, anytime we would pass that road in our church and we don't stop there, our children would cry. They would just get so upset and they would cry because they know that this is the road that leads to church, or this is the road that leads to school, or this is the road that leads to grandma, auntie's house. They know roads. They're very good with remembering. They have photographic memory. A lot of children have photographic memory. They're no different. And they remember landmarks and they remember places. So when they see us heading in a certain direction and we make the opposite turn or opposite whatever in the direction what they think that we're going, they get upset. So one thing the psychologist told us that it was really good to communicate with them, tell them where we're going, so they wouldn't get so disappointed to the point where they cry or upset when they realize that we're heading on this road, but we're not heading to school or church or grandma's house. Like she told us to really communicate with them and let them know that okay, we're going out, but we're going here, A, B, and C. So change in routines, any change in routines. Like I said, even in the home with certain things, when they know that they do certain things at a certain time, and you just switch up that routine, or you don't do something that they normally do on a daily basis, and they get frustrated and they throw a tantrum. That's another sign as well. Because with children who are diagnosed with autism, one thing we're really encouraged to do from the professionals is to have a routine to help the children to know that okay, we've done this, you know this is next, you know this is next, you know this is next. And for us, it's how important it is for us to really stick to that routine to help them. And it doesn't just help the parents in a way that they wouldn't have to get upset or anything like that. It helps the children to remember certain things. It helps them to even develop independence because they know that okay, we're gonna brush our teeth now after we finish eating. So now they'll get excited. Some children will get excited to know that okay, they'll brush their teeth, and it'll encourage them to know that okay, to give them some kind of independence to know that they could help and they could do for themselves as well. So routine, changing directions, changing whatever it is. That's one of the main signs as well when children who have autism, when they really get upset with that. Um, the fifth sign that I would share today would be they repeat everything that is said to them. And that is called echolalia. I hope I pronounced it right, but it's called the correct term for it is echolalia. It means they echo everything that is said to them. They repeat everything that is said to them. So, for example, if you were to go to them, certain children who have autism, you go to them, you would say, "Hi, how are you doing?" Instead of them saying, "I'm fine, I'm okay," they would say, "Hi, how are you doing?" Or you say, "What is your name?" Instead of saying, "My name is Johnny, my name is John, my name is whatever," they would say, "What is your name?" So it's just them repeating, echoing everything that you said. That is another sign, another common sign of a child that um, might have autism. They echo everything that is said to them instead of actually responding, communicating, and answering certain things. And I would share, I know I said five signs, but I'm going to share a sixth sign, which is, I think, is a really important one as well. And it's something that you really can't avoid seeing also. And this is sensory overload. The correct term for it's sensory processing disorder for my children. Like I say, it varies. Every child is different. Some children have different sensory overloads. They react to it differently. But for my children, one of my children, both of them struggle with loud sounds, loud noises, to the point where you will see the child doing this all the time, and you'll be like, "Why are they covering their ears? Ain't no bunch of noise in here." But with children with autism, from what I've understood over the years, when they are in a environment that is busy, a lot is going on, the way we could filter certain sounds in our brains for children or people who have autism, it's hard for them to filter certain sounds and just focus on one particular sound. So that's why it's called sensory overload. So if we're in a room where the radio's on, the TV's on, the phone is on, the tablet is on, everything making noise, and it don't have to be loud noise, but the fact that everything's on one time, and we could focus on just probably the TV, and everything else around us we could probably block out. For a child with autism, they hear everything loudly. Everything is coming at them very loud, and it's caused them to have an overload, and that's why they would do this, or they would hum while they do that to try filter the noise so they could so they could it wouldn't feel like it's coming at them all at once and it wouldn't be too overwhelming. For our children, what we did was we purchased these noise canceling headphones. They have these on Amazon. That's where we got these from. I'm not going to show the name. Hopefully, you don't see the name of the product. But we purchased these noise canceling headphones on Amazon, and these help a whole lot. These were a game changer in the Bahamas because we live in the Bahamas. We have this cultural event called Junkanoo, and it's a loud, loud, loud event. I mean, drums, horns, just a bunch of noise, bunch of music, bunch of cultural music. And we were very skeptical in going to it, because when they were younger, as they grew, it wasn't as bad. When they were toddlers and babies, they never used to do that. But the older they get, because now they're understanding certain things and now they're maturing, they started to cover their ass a lot every time we go into an environment that's overwhelming for them. So we carried them to Junkanoo this year in January, and we carried the headphones for the first time after we purchased it, and they were good. But when the music and everything started to get too loud, the crowd started to get too loud, we noticed they started to put their hands over their ears. And when they did that, we whipped out the headphones, and it was a big help. Because after they put them on, I can't explain what the headphones do. All I know is it helps muffle the sound so the sound wouldn't be blasting, all the sounds wouldn't be blasting in their ears all at once. So it really helps muffle the noise that's around them, and it helps them not to cry or get upset or frustrated. These are a lifesaver. So if you notice that particular sign in your child, please go to Amazon or wherever you could find it. Find noise canceling headphones for children with autism. Like, you could type that in and the options will come up. But these were game changer for us. Another sensory overload that we noticed in the kids were light. And only one of my kids have that issue with too much light. When it's too much light in the room, wherever he is, he will politely go and cut the light off. I mean, okay. The first couple times he did it, I was like, "What you doing? Why are you using this light?" But what I was told with from the psychiatrist and learning online and reading up on the information, just how the noise is a lot, too much light is a lot too. So I just leave him be. I just make sure that he be in a place where he could do it himself, because he started to cut off the light, the TV light and everything in the room with him and his brother in the room, and it's not fair. So what we do is we just let him go in our room or area by himself. So if he want complete darkness with only his tablet or just no light at all, he could live in his little world like that. And once we realize that, okay, that's something that's calming for him, that helps him to cope, that helps him to relax and settle so he could wind down. Because normally it's mostly when he has to go sleep, that's when he cuts off the lights. He wants complete darkness. Um, that's what we've been allowing him to do. So what it is that so those are the six signs. So now six signs. Those are the six signs that we have observed in our children. There might have been other little things here and there, but those are the six main and common signs that we have observed in our kids over the past 6 years. And with seeing them, like I say, all children are different. Even my twins, they're different. They have different signs. They don't do the exact same things all the time. Certain things that you just can't avoid. Not you can't miss it. Certain things you can't miss, and a lot of these things that I listed off today, you just can't miss. So I'll say the list again. The first one was obsession or fixation with things that spin. Example: ceiling fans, wheels on cars, regular fans, whatever spins, they are obsessed with it. Two, repetitive hand gestures, whether it be clapping or the fidgeting of the fingers. And normally with the fidgeting of fingers, we normally give them, the fidget spinners. I know there was one time they had fidget spinners and they used to help a lot, but every child's different. It really didn't work with my kids. Once they have something in their hand, um, they good, or they don't need it often because they don't have the gestures often, only when they're excited. So it varies. And if that works for your child, then it'll work for your child with that, with giving them something to keep in their hand so they wouldn't do it. But one thing I've learned as well too, we shouldn't, and this is hard, because I still to this day, some Gerard, stop clapping. I'd be like, Gerard, stop making noise in this house, stop clapping, stop making noise. But just how we express ourselves through words, they express themselves in these ways that isn't verbal, non-verbal. So we have to be very careful not to stifle them or tell them to stop because they're trying to get it out. Just how we could just say we have the saying, get it off our chest. They can't verbally say it. So they have to get it out one way or another. And them doing these certain things are their way of getting it out. So just as a parent, as a guardian, please be careful. And, I know it could be frustrating. I know it could be annoying. It could be annoying, but try not to stifle them from who they are. So try not to stop them from being who they really are, and try help them find better ways to express themselves or get it out, get how they're feeling out, as best as you can. And the professionals, once you are a professional, they'll be able to give you more examples and ways to help them in those areas, cope in those areas. So number 2, repetitive hand movements. Number 3, speech and developmental delay. Overall developmental delay. 4, getting upset or frustrated when routines are changed, even slightly. They get really upset and they have tantrums or they cry, whatever it may be for your child. Um, and that's number 4. Number 5, repeating everything that is said, which is called echolalia. Not responding when you ask or you say something to them expecting a response, but only repeating exactly what is said to them. That's echolalia. And number 6, sensory overload, otherly known as sensory processing disorder, when noises are too much and it's coming at them too loud and they cover the ears, or lights, lighting, it's too much lighting, they cover their eyes, or they cut off lights. Another example I would want to give with this was when I really realized how serious the sensory overload was for my child, because it's not only the noises. I realized environments too now. Let me explain. We had a Christmas party last year, and I know it's going to be a lot because so we brought the headphones. We were prepared. We brought the headphones, and when we walked in, of course, the music and everything was going off, but it didn't affect any of them at the moment. But when we got to the children's area, and it's all the little children running around, they had the popcorn machine going on, they had the bouncy castle going on, they had a lot of things going on in this area, which was a lot of fun for the children. I mean, a lot of fun for the children. For my son, one of them in particular, when he got in that area, he had a whole meltdown. Like he literally was trying to yuck away from me and his dad and run in the opposite direction. And like I said, it just wasn't the noise because we had to pass the noise to get there, and he didn't react that way. But when he got in that area where all the children was running around, all the fun was going on, it was too much for him. And he had a meltdown. He started to cry, and he just had a really bad time. And then it's another time after that, my same son, we went, and this is how I really noticed that it was a serious issue. We went into a fun house. We have a fun house on the island, and it's a closed-in environment, and they play music and just children just being fun, running around, jungle gym, this thing and the next. And the minute we got in there, he had another meltdown, and it was really bad. It's really bad to the point that I was upset, and I was like, "What you doing? Why you getting on this?" And me not really understanding, because this is only the second time I saw it. Me not really understanding what was going on with him, and I got really upset. And I said, "You can't do that in the same next." But once we settled, he was good. He just needed a few minutes to get adjusted to the environment. And sometimes, not all children, but sometimes that's all they need, a moment to just adjust to their settings. And once they get adjusted, they'll be fine. Now, they still may not play and everything like that with the regular other children, but it will cause them to it'll cause them to be more calm, more relaxed, and they will be able to enjoy themselves how they feel comfortable enough to join them to enjoy themselves. So that's something I wanted to share with you all as well, for an example of sensory overload. But I hope that this video was a great help to anybody who is it meant, whoever this video is meant to help. I hope and pray that it helps you. Um, and I hope that, you know, you as a parent, you as a guardian, you seek the help that you need for that child, for that teen, for that young, whoever it may be for that child. Because at the end of the day, I know for sure with me, like I said, in my first video, I struggled, to acknowledge just a lot of stuff. I struggled to accept it. It was hard. It wasn't easy. And it's never hard to accept or hear things about your children. It's never that easy. But I would honestly say the earlier you could get the help for them, the better it would be for them. The earlier you could get the official diagnosis so that you can get the treatment, the therapy, the speech therapy, whatever therapy they may need, the better it would be for them to have a chance at a life that they can live independently. The earlier the better. So one thing I would say, put pride aside. For me, I had to struggle with that. I had to get out of my own way. I had to get out of my own way. And God had to deal with me with that. And as soon as I say, God, you know what? It ain't even about me. It's about us getting the help that these children need to be the best that they could be. And the Bible says pride goeth before the fall. Like I would have caught if I allowed my pride to stay the main controlling factor for what I do with my children, I would have been causing them to struggle and fall for a long time. So I just want to encourage every parent out there, every person who might be hearing this, watching this video, and seeing some of these signs that was mentioned in their children, in their grandchildren, what cousin, nephew, niece, whatever, please, please, please get them help as soon as possible, no matter how old they are. Get them help as soon as possible. I know a lot of people in certain cultures, it could be embarrassing to even share this kind of information with other people, to let people know that, oh, my child struggled with this, my child struggled with that, or listen to me, get out your own way. Get out your own way. That pride ain't make no sense. Being selfish, because that's only being selfish, because you're only thinking about yourself and you're not thinking about what's best for the child. Get out of your own way. Ask God to help you. Get rid of that pride, a spirit of pride, because it only can hold you back and it only can hold that child back. And get the help that the child needs. Reach out to you. If you see certain signs that was mentioned, or one or two things, and you're concerned, reach out to the child's pediatrician or the doctor and ask them what's the next step. You see certain things, you see certain signs, you want to know what's the next step to get them the help that they need. And I'm sure that they could direct you in the areas and the therapies and whatever step is next needed to take to get the child the therapy, the help that they need. But get out of your own way. You're only holding that baby back. You're only holding that child back. And they need every bit of help that they could get. Okay, so that's one thing I wanted to really share and encourage you all with, and also know that you're not in this alone. And for those family members who see something in their family member child and probably just don't know what to say or how to say it, I will say this. Please pray about it. Ask God for the right time and to speak to your family member, because none of that is easy to hear from anybody. I don't care who the person is. It's not easy to hear from anybody. And some people process it differently. Some people are very will knock it down completely, or some people will be more open to receive whatever it is that you're saying, but not all are the same. So as you approach this family member to just say, you know what, just, look into this, look into that, please pray about it. If you don't know how to pray, find a way to pray. Go to God, ask God for the right timing and the right words to say to that person, because you don't want to offend them. And I know you might be coming from a place of love, but mm, just be very careful. Just be very careful. But if you do love that person and you really care for them, you would say what you need to say to them in a loving way, the right time, not not just any time around anybody. Please seek guidance from the Heavenly Father for the right timing, the right words to say to speak to that family member. Because just put yourself in that person's shoe, and you wouldn't be able to know exactly how they would feel. And you'd be like, oh, they shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter. They should just get the help. No, 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 no. We could say all kinds of things all day because we're not living that. But to be in those shoes, it's a whole other story. So just seek guidance, wisdom, knowledge before you approach them, to go to them with a loving, careful heart and words and tone and everything, okay? So I hope that this video was a blessing to your heart. I hope that you learned something from this video. I hope that it gives each and every one of you a bit more understanding of children who are diagnosed with ASD. Even if you don't have a child that is diagnosed with it and you see other children around you, please teach your children how to interact with other children that exhibit these signs, so that they wouldn't be cruel and be bullied. They wouldn't be bullies to those children. And just be more human, be more kind to everybody else, and just understand that everybody's struggle is different, everybody's journey is different, everybody's dealing with it differently, and we just have to give grace to everybody, love, kindness, show love and show kindness and patience to everybody we come in contact with, especially those who deal with children with special needs. Okay, so y'all be blessed. Thank you so much for tuning in, and just remember to pray about everything. Trust God in every situation that you may be in, and obey whatever it is that He's put on your heart to do. I know with obedience, fear is one of the things that keep us from being fully obedient. But when you disobey, in between, either you obey or you disobey. And we have to always remember that there is somebody else who is on the other side of our obedience. So we need to just obey whatever it is that God tells us to do, especially us as parents. Um, And us as Christians, we have to just obey and just trust whatever He's doing, and leave whatever else happens after that in His hands. Okay? So be blessed. Thank you for coming and tuning in again. And y'all have a blessed day.